back, everyone, to Pod of Thrones. I'm Jeff.
I'm Jennifer.
So, babe, we got some Game of Thrones headlines to talk about. But I thought maybe I'd start today with a public service announcement.
Oh.
People, listen carefully to me. Your old trustworthy pal, Jeff. Drink a lot of water, people. Stay hydrated.
Yes, that. It's been a week.
I've had some bad times recently.
I swear, our lives.
It's always something. Some bad times recently, probably caused by dehydration over time. And that came in the form of a kidney stone that made my life a living hell for a while there.
It still is, kind of.
Well, it's still in me, but it's not causing stabbing pains anymore. It doesn't.
Right,
the feeling was like being stabbed.
Why don't you tell everybody what happens if you don't?
So if you're unfamiliar with a kidney stone, here's what happens. Deposits, little just mineral deposits or something, build up in your kidney and form a hard little rock. And then it just kind of sits there and it doesn't really do anything, as far as I know, most of the time, until at long last, and this one has been years in the making, like I knew it was there. Until at long last, the stone finally starts making its way out of your body like the rest of your waste fluids. But it's trying to do that by moving through a passageway made for small amounts of fluids to move through. Mm-hmm. Not jaggedy, rocks. Fucking nasty rock.
Oh.
People always assume, and I think the legend is that the pain is that you're shooting a rock out of your dick, right? But that's not actually where the pain is happening. It's happening in your lower back area. It's the movement from kidney to bladder that hurts the most. The part coming out of your bladder probably isn't noticeable in most cases.
Sorry.
So,
this sounds awful.
Oh, it was terrible. You saw me.
Oh yeah, I saw you, and you know what? I've had 3 children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I have had one without any kind of pain block.
Duh.
All natural.
Uh-huh.
And 2 with.
Yeah.
And I could say that definitely what you were experiencing was probably close to my labor pains.
Just based on how I was acting.
Yeah, based on your reaction.
Boy.
I mean, close. I think like early labor, like from 1 to 5 centimeters. But after that, all bets are off. Okay. I mean, like when you get to 8, 9 centimeters, 10 centimeters, like your body just starts shaking because it's so painful.
Well, that's the contractions.
That's the painful contractions, right?
What about the part? See, I don't know. So having a kidney stone has often been compared to, this is the closest men will come to knowing what it feels like to have birth, to give birth, or have contractions. But is it the contractions that hurt the most, or is it the part where the baby's coming out of your baby chute?
No, it's the contractions.
Oh, really? Because
you don't really.
You really stretch out a lot there. That looks like that would be kind of uncomfortable.
You don't feel that part. All you feel is incredible pressure. Like you're just going to take the biggest shit of your entire life, and it's going to be like the size of a baby.
Oh, that's like how the rest of us would feel after a Brazilian steakhouse trip.
It's not a big shit for you.
Some of my friends have referred to it as a meat baby.
Ew, yuck. Well, I don't know. I've never had a meat baby. Although I did have babies made of flesh. So sort of I did have a meat baby.
Yeah, well.
I had 3 meat babies. Anyway.
Yes.
It's the contractions. Yeah. It's weird. It's a lot like, now this is gross. I'm sorry, Pot of Thrones.
Hey, this is a public service announcement.
It's a lot like diarrhea cramps, but times like 70.
Like the part of the baby coming out?
The contractions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, and then, so mine didn't feel like a muscle cramp. so much.
No, it doesn't feel like
just
cramps.
being stabbed.
It doesn't feel like, so what, it's not the same thing as a muscle cramp. It's having cramps in your girl parts or your abdomen is different from muscle cramps. Don't you agree? Like when you get stomach and you get
yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
It's
Sure.
those kinds of pains.
I suppose if you amplified it by 70 times, then maybe that would feel like getting stabbed. Yeah.
So you feel like you're getting stabbed?
Oh, God, it was awful. Yeah. It was really
right
bad.
In your
right in my kidney. Yeah. Getting stabbed in the back. It's like, I mean, it was like.
So, but then.
It's like what a serial killer would do.
So
to
you've been dealing with this for how long now?
Well, over a week.
Right.
Like
so
8-9 days, something like that.
First, like 4 or 5 days, excruciating for you, right?
Yes. And then it just kind of fades
so you
slowly.
think, oh, I'm
so then,
better.
like, yeah, like maybe I passed it. And then like 5 hours later, it's like, oh, the pain's back again, but it's not as bad as it was before. So apparently my body is adjusting according to my doctors, who I've seen quite a few of recently.
It just gives up. And
the body's just like, well, I guess there's a rock in us now. That's the new normal. But it's not good because there's still like fluid back up in my kidneys. So,
right.
or my kidney. So my kidney still feels kind of swollen sometimes. And I know that's not good long term. I got to get rid of this fucking stone, but it's a question of how and when will it go on its own, or am I going to have a procedure done, which I would really rather not do.
Right.
But it might come to that.
Scary.
So we're going to give it a little time. But for now, at least the stabbing pains are over. If you were following me on Twitter, you might have heard something about a little bit of that. Although this time, unlike the last couple times I went to the hospital for things like the worst food poisoning I ever had, I didn't take a selfie with stuff attached to my face.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was a fun selfie.
Yeah.
What was that from?
What there was also the sleep study. The sleep study was another one.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out what makes me tick, I guess. Mm-hmm. But the kidney stone, that, because of other things that I've been trying to figure out about me, I knew that stone was there. It has showed up in previous x-rays or something.
Yet you still didn't drink enough water.
Look, that's the problem, is that I just don't pay attention to my thirst feeling. It just doesn't really hit me. I don't know how to fix that exactly, but I'm trying, thanks to stabbing pains, to become more aware of it. I'm trying. And
Maybe we should get you one of those hats.
You can also remind me anytime you want. Drink. What?
Or one of those camel bags.
Where it's just a straw, like coming out of my...
Yes, you can be that guy.
Can I do that at work, though? Because that's the biggest problem,
right?
Is at work.
That's where you're going to do it.
Okay. I could call it like a medical accommodation. Then they can't, they can't do anything about it. He's Jeff, the guy who has a problem. So he wears a straw everywhere he goes.
I mean, there's Stephen Hawking. He's like
well, he had that little straw that would push his chair around. Or
right.
Mm-hmm. True. It's basically the same thing. Exactly. I'm basically Stephen Hawking is what you're trying to say. I appreciate the compliment.
Brilliant people have these weird, quirky things. So
you just called me brilliant. Well, thank you, man.
You are brilliant.
Oh, well, thank you. So that's the public service announcement, people. Please drink a lot of fluids, a little less caffeine if you can, because that does dehydrate you more in the long run.
There's also other things that contribute, like certain.
Well, there are, yeah. There's a few different types of kidney stones.
Isn't spinach a factor?
Yeah, well, there's certain things you can eat that could cause buildup of things in your kidneys.
I don't think spinach is a big problem with you.
I think dehydration is the biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely the one for me.
Well, let's talk about...
So there we go. Any
Game
questions?
of Thrones
Let me know. Game of Thrones stuff. So I was also looking around at other Game of Thrones news on the internet. This is not Jennifer's headline corner, unfortunately.
Aww.
Yeah.
Well, I've been watching, I don't like to click on all these headlines because it's talk about spoilers.
There are a lot of headlines that could be spoilers now.
Right. Yeah. Just clickbait. But I don't click on it because I ain't no clickbait person that clicks on that.
I saw a headline today that was about supposedly the Night King's fate. And it said it was a spoiler or possible spoiler or something like that. No, I didn't know. Of course not. I don't want to know.
It's all just BS anyway.
I did see a headline about Kit Harington shaved his beard.
Yes, I saw that.
So I guess that means they're done filming.
Well, I thought they were talking about him being in one of the prequels.
He couldn't possibly be.
Okay.
Could they? Could he?
Well, not as himself, but...
Unless you're I saw a headline about Richard Madden, I think his name is. He played Rob, possibly being the new James Bond.
I know.
That would be cool.
He would be good.
That would make
right?
me watch a Bond movie. I haven't seen very many of them.
He would be a good Bond, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lean and
hey,
sexy.
Thought you didn't like lean men. That's why I've been working on my gut. I wanted to have nice curves for you.
Did I say I didn't like lean men?
I just figured that's why you're with me.
Oh.
Okay.
No.
So since it's been a recent topic of conversation, there is more speculation. And this time it's on winteriscoming.net. More speculation about when this friggin' season is finally going to air. And their speculation revolves around True Detective Season 3, for starters. So, they're saying if True Detective Season 3 is coming out, this article keeps skipping on me. Okay. It's supposed to premiere on Sunday, January 13th, 2019. Then, since that's in a Sunday night slot, because HBO always has something in their Sunday night slot, if Game of Thrones were to premiere after that, then that would be March 3rd. If you want to keep your Sundays rolling along, March 3rd, 2019. But that doesn't match up with our speculation from a few weeks back.
No, they said late 2019.
Well, HBO has said in the past, like first half of 2019, but the special effects guys, remember there was that comment from one guy saying like, we are not even close to done. We're not going to be done by April or whatever people were expecting. So, then
were we saying October?
I still think maybe after Comic-Con, maybe time it with Comic-Con
right.
somehow, either like during Comic-Con or right after Comic-Con or something like that. And then the other variable would be Big Little Lies Season 2, which is also set for an early 2019 premiere. So if that were to fall into a slot right after True Detective Season 3, then they're thinking maybe the end of April would be the possible premiere. And that is more likely, I think. I don't think March is likely based on what we've been hearing. But it sure would be nice if HBO would just put us out of our misery and tell us. That would be awesome.
Well, it's still early.
It's not, who cares? I mean, if they know, I'm sure someone has a plan. Someone has some project manager at HBO has like a Gantt chart that lays out like all the different pieces of the Game of Thrones puzzle and when they expect it to be done by. So they could tell us. They're just not.
Well,
bugging me.
They probably don't know for sure. They probably don't have a hard date.
Well, maybe that's what it is. Speaking of HBO and how they are both our friends and our enemies, there was a headline.
Our frenemies.
I was reading this on Variety, Variety.com, that George R.R. Martin was advocating for 10, 11, 12, 13 seasons of Game of Thrones.
What?
But it was Benioff and Weiss that said, no, we're out. They wanted to stop at 7, and they were talked into 8, which is what we're getting. But they did not want to do any more Game of Thrones than 8.
Well,
and George R. R. Martin said we should do more.
They're trying to go out on a...
Well, I am glad that, I mean, it's been 8 seasons of waiting for the Night King to get his comeuppance or whatever, for the White Walkers to do something. So I'm glad we're going to see the end of that. But it is very soap opera-y. You could continue a show like Game of Thrones forever. In theory.
I guess, but that's a lot of money for a lot of forever. Eventually, it would start deteriorating, probably, because you would start eventually losing viewers because
that's a
you can only watch so much of that.
AMC is keeping The Walking Dead going, and they said they got spin-offs and other Walking Dead related things for at least a decade is what they say they're committing to.
I don't see that.
But the ratings on The Walking Dead are dropping and dropping. But even as they drop, they're still the number one show on cable TV. So it's like, do you consider it a danger, or is everything still kind of okay because you're still the most watched show on cable television?
I think it's still okay.
But will it be okay for 10 years? Well, I don't know. I was a little disappointed in the Walking Dead season premiere. It had its moments, but it was kind of ho-hum. It didn't set a whole lot up. But
You know,
maybe episode 2 will be good.
we're not talking about Walking Dead right now.
I
so
know
let's
we're not.
move on.
I know we're not. I know we're not. I'm just.
Well, I was going to go start talking about Fallout 76. So,
Well, we will talk about that,
Yeah.
but a slightly different place. So that was just something else that kind of made me think, like, what else would be happening? Obviously, we're getting prequels, and he said in the same interview or article that he says, George R. R. Martin says, he has 5 different prequels in development. We know that they've greenlit one for a pilot. Still no guarantee we're going to see it, but that one is supposed to be about the Long Night. But there could be anything from 100 years before the show to thousands of years before the show, is what he was saying. Leaves a lot of room open. The Roberts Rebellion prequel, that would be interesting to see too.
maybe they'll just keep going backwards.
Yeah, maybe.
That'd be kind of cool.
Maybe we'll see when
Do
the
everything
world
in
was
backwards.
formed.
Everything in backwards. Not in reverse, but in backwards.
In backwards, yeah. Okay. Let's see if this one gets you. And we might have to save up some money for this.
Oh.
Oh, wrong tab in my browser. Here we go. So the headline here from IndieWire.com, Game of Thrones. It says, thanks to HBO, you can visit Westeros on your next vacation. So what HBO is currently doing is they're working with the Northern Ireland Tourist Commission or Board or whatever to preserve Game of Thrones sets indefinitely. Kind of like what was done with some of the, like at the Shire for Lord of the Rings. You can still go to New Zealand and see the hills where they put doors on the hills to make it look like the Shire.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that stuff. So they're working on doing that in Ireland.
I've always wanted to build a home in a hill.
Oh yeah, me too. Didn't I talk about that somewhere recently?
You would need a giant door. You would need a dump, like
Thanks. Well, that's why they're round, so they can fit my fat ass through.
No, you'd have to totally duck.
Well, we could just build a bigger circle, can't we? Circles come in lots of
It would
sizes.
have to be huge.
Yeah.
Circle.
Well, you put like a garage door opener thing on it so you don't have to pull it open yourself.
It would have to be a 7-foot circle.
Yeah.
That's giant.
That's awesome. That would be awesome. It would be intimidating. No one would mess with us. I think it'd be fun to have an underground home. As long as, it's well sealed so the earth doesn't keep getting in.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I don't think the hobbits cared about that as much.
No.
Little worms.
Sorry,
and
continue.
vermin. What are we talking about? Okay.
So they're in Ireland.
So they are going to preserve filming locations with the sets intact so that you, a tourist, can go visit them. And they're going to call it the Game of Thrones Legacy Experiences. Mm-hmm. I bet this would cost a shitload.
Right. It's HBO.
But you have to go to Ireland to do it, so hopefully it won't be too crowded. I mean, it does take effort, But okay, so
I don't know.
Are we not going to go do it?
Really? It's just the set. It's not like real stuff.
Well, but listen to what they're going to preserve. Here's what's on the list right now. Sites being eyed for preservation include Winterfell, like the castle.
Did I tell you could buy part of
what?
Part of
Winterfell?
No, but something else. Go ahead. One of the other castles. It was the
You talking about when someone bought one of the castles that we used for some of the Hogwarts exteriors for Harry Potter?
No. I told you about this. They were selling part of one of the Game of Thrones castles. It was not the phrase, and it wasn't. What's Catherine's?
River Run?
Was it River Run?
River Run is
where the Tullys. It was a smaller one.
Okay,
smaller castle, but you could buy part of it.
6
apartments in a castle.
Oh, that does sound familiar. So yeah, it's a real castle.
A wing of it.
Yeah, so you can own it like being part of a condo association or something. That would be neat. Cold, probably kind of murky.
And it was like out in the middle of nowhere. It was kind of creepy.
For me, it's all about whether or not there's good internet there.
I'm sure there was not.
Get some fiber run out to that place.
Not in a stone castle.
Have a little coax hookup for a cable modem coming out of the stone wall. That'd be amazing. Okay, so Winterfell, or Stark Residence Winterfell, Night's Watch Headquarters, Castle Black. I think the elevator works. That'd be awesome. Except where would it go? The wall's not real.
Wow.
And King's Landing, capital of the Seven Kingdoms and home of the Iron Throne. So there are some other locations, like some of my family, not me, not you,
right,
were recently in Barcelona, where they saw the real cathedral that is ever so slightly modified, I think, via computer to become the Great Sept of Baelor.
Mm-hmm.
So they saw that, and that's in King's Landing, but I think they're talking about, something else, some of the sets around King's Landing.
I have a friend that just went to Iceland and saw the wall.
Oh my God, there is a real wall?
Well, no.
What is it really?
She was like, no, I think we just saw the area where it was like filmed.
The area where they dropped the wall in via computers? Okay.
Right. I don't think that there's a real wall because she didn't.
It's not a real 700 foot high.
Yeah, but she did see where they supposedly filmed where they were out on their little island.
Like the ice island where they had that showdown and
right.
then
and
we lost a dragon.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Viserys. Was it Viserys that we lost?
Viserion?
Viserion.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Poor Viserion.
She said it was pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Neat. So she was in icy places.
Yes.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see some
I
pictures
don't know
of
if
that.
it was icy or not.
Get some pictures. I mean, I want to see them at least, even if
I'll
they're
try.
not for public use. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I'll see if I can get some for our site.
You could write a blog post.
Yeah.
Stick it up on the blog of Thrones at potofthrones.com.
Maybe I could get her to do it.
Maybe. Let's see what happens.
All right.
So what else? Those were my headlines. And then we never did talk because we've been gone a while again. Oops. About the Emmys. And it's entirely possible that there are people out there that don't know what happened at the Emmys. Is that possible?
I could be one of them.
You could be.
Why don't you tell me what happened?
All right. Well, let's just so the nominations and wins are it's a huge list, and I'm not going to try to sort these. I'm pulling them off of Emmys.com. But if I go from top to bottom here, first of all, as a nomination, Diana Rigg, Lady Olenna Tyrell, was nominated as Outstanding Guest Actress in a Drama Series.
Cool.
She did not win, unfortunately, but
Aww.
She was nominated. That's nice. Game of Thrones won Outstanding Drama Series 2018.
Sweet.
Pretty awesome.
Who were they up against?
It doesn't say that here.
Darn.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I knew. Didn't I say? I told you.
You might have said, yeah, but that was before the Emmys. That was so long ago.
Then it left my brain.
All right. Outstanding Production Design for a Narrative Period or Fantasy Program. Winner, Game of Thrones.
All right.
Production design, so that's cool. Outstanding Sound Editing for a Comedy or Drama Series. 1 hour format. Game of Thrones was nominated but did not win. But hey, still cool. Outstanding Casting for a Drama Series. They were nominated but did not win. Outstanding Sound Mixing for a Comedy or Drama Series. 1 hour long. Game of Thrones did win for the episode Beyond the Wall. Outstanding Sound Mixing. Good job, you guys. Outstanding Directing for a Drama Series, nominated for, again, Beyond the Wall. And and for Visual Effects, Outstanding Special Visual Effects, Beyond the Wall won. And I'm guessing, just off the top of my head, Beyond the Wall has got to be the episode with Viserion and all that shit. Had a lot of effects. They were beyond the wall. You can't deny that.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty good effects.
I'm pretty sure that was that
those
episode.
Dragons look real.
Yeah, they're incredible. Remember that time we interviewed someone who made the first dragon models and then we lost all the recordings? Good times. Outstanding Directing for a Drama Series, nominated, but did not win. Outstanding Stunt Coordination for a Drama Series, Limited Series, or movie, they won! Game of Thrones won that. Stunts. I can't, I mean, they gotta, right?
Fighting.
Who's doing better than that? Outstanding Single Camera Picture Editing for a Drama Series, nominated. They were nominated for so many awards.
Do you think it gets boring at some point?
What, being nominated for that many awards? Being that awesome at everything?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they're stopping at 8 seasons.
Yeah.
Could be. Maybe they're just like, we've accomplished so much. What's the point at this point? Outstanding writing for a drama series nominee, but did not win. Outstanding single camera picture editing. Didn't I already read that one? I don't know. Nominee. All right, here we go. Outstanding fantasy or sci-fi costumes. Winner. Yeah. Game of Thrones.
Nice.
Booyah. Outstanding single camera picture editing again? All right, whatever. They were nominated a bunch of times. Hairstyling, nominee. Makeup, nominee, but did not win. Prosthetic makeup. Outstanding prosthetics for a series, limited series, movie, or special. They did win that one.
Good for them.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Outstanding music composition. They won that too.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Outstanding. Okay, so now we're almost at the end of the list here. We'll say outstanding supporting actress in a drama series. Lena Headey was nominated, but did not win. But then it was a big deal over in outstanding supporting actor in a drama series because we had 2 nominees, Nikolai Coster-Waldau, Jaime Lannister, for those of you not aware, or Peter Dinklage for Tyrion Lannister.
Who won? Tyrion?
Peter Dinklage won.
Good job.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's great. I just hope he's not arrogant in real life.
I have no reason to think he is.
Because he plays a great arrogant guy. I just, that's why. I mean, not.
Well, I think you get that stuff out on camera, and then you don't need that energy anymore. You just cast that arrogant energy aside, and then you're super cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
Good. Congratulations, then.
Yeah. So good job. So an outstanding drama series alone, that is a big accomplishment. So way to go, Game of Thrones. I'm sure they're going to win a lot more for the final season too.
There's never been better TV.
Yeah. And we've been watching a lot. We do watch a lot of TV.
There has never been better TV.
It does. When I think about it, I feel kind of empty because, again, there's such a gap now between these seasons. It just makes me sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. Those are the headlines. I don't know that I have anything else to say that's Game of Thrones related right now. Do you, dear?
No.
Okay. Well, I think what we're going to do is stop this recording and sign off. And then for anyone that cares, we're going to do a little separate bit because we just, we were taking a look at, in the video game universe, at a little thing called Fallout 76. We got to play it for a little while. Sort of a sneak preview. So I wanted to talk about that. But it's not at all Game of Thrones related. So I think that should just be just a separate little piece of the broadcasting universe.
Okay.
All right. So
signing out.
Maybe we'll talk to you there. And if not, we'll talk to you soon. And please, for the love of all the gods, all the 7, stay hydrated, people.
Be well.